Walmart for the holidays and take a look and see how it's going. So keep rocking, folks. We're back into the the off night. So of course, we got to be your great host and MC, Mr. Mark Sweetman.
Hey!
Hi.
I got a bad connection. Oh, here we go. I'm in. I thought I had a bad connection there or something. But hey, Andy, how's it going?
What's that?
How's it going?
I'm going. I'm at the Walmart. This is the Walmart world.
Now, are you able to be there without a mask on? Oh yeah.
I'm in the corner, so I have to put my mask back on. But
all right,
I got the Lions hat on. Of course, who could have known that they would beat the Cardinals?
Yeah, isn't
unbelievable.
Yeah. I want to talk about that a little bit. Not too much tonight, but I want to talk about that a little bit. But we're going to wait till Sammy gets here to talk about that because he's all boned up about it. He lives in New York. All he's got is the Jets and the Giants. So,
yeah, he has to suffer.
And he's a Washington fan, and they're not doing that well. They looked like they were going to make a playoff run, but in the last couple of weeks they haven't done too well. So,
oops.
Anyway, so
just put that anywhere.
So what's going on at Walmart? Did you just stop there to do the show?
Just stop here to do the show. I want to see. We just had an accident of a dropped bottle of pop. So we're going to see what's happening in the Walmart in terms of like what they're selling and what's going on. But this is the happening place. This is where the kids are.
I'm sure there's a ton of drop pop. I see Sam's in our green room, in our electronic green room. I'll be bringing him in as soon as we we're done with this. So is this their return area, Andy?
I think so. This is all the returns.
And so they don't take care of that until everybody leaves the store? Is that how that happens?
Well, this is where Santa's going to put his toys right here. For all the kids and girls. This is it.
For everybody?
Right there. Woman gave me a strange look, so I'm not going to talk too loud. But here's my face.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure who the blue hat is, but the red hat is mine. So,
has anybody called you Santa when you go out in public this year?
What's that?
Has anybody called you Santa when you go out in public this year?
Every person in the car keeps referring to me as Santa. I have been talked to 1,000 times. I've been harassed as Santa.
Now, how does I would think they'd harass you more for wearing a Lion's cap than
that too. But today the victory was there. You can't laugh at the Lions anymore, my friend.
Oh, okay. Oh, did you see that? Yeah, the Jaguars are now the number one. They got the number one draft pick, and it really, you know what? There's no number one that you have to have this year. I mean, you can be number two in the draft. That's not a big deal to be number one this year.
Oh yeah.
Other years perhaps, not this year. I wouldn't worry about it.
Well, here is the master selection of stuff, all the way from China. Here for you.
I hate that crap.
Ho ho ho.
Yeah, and just I don't know, just mass-produced crap.
Well, it's got to make the landfills fill up with something. Yeah. Oh, this is fantastic. You can use this so many times for the rest of the year.
That's great. But you know what, Andy? You gotta work on the centering of your shot there because all we got was your arm hair on that one. So
sorry. Let's see, is it possible to flip the photo out?
What are we trying to flip?
My camera's on the other side.
Here's you know what I can do? I can. I
lost you.
I'm coming. All right, I'm back. Here's a different one. There you go. Okay, now I'm giving you the full shot. Can you still hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Now you got the full shot. So, or the full screen, I mean. So use it how you may. What do we got here? A penguin cookie jar?
Penguin, not sure what it is. But again, it's, obviously me. It was actually me at my full weight. Pretty much it. I've lost a little bit.
Speaking of full weight, weighed in at the doctor the day before yesterday, 204. I may get under 200 before the end of the year. I didn't think it was going to happen, but
Well, congratulations.
I'm not trying to do it. I'd hate to at the end of this find out I got something that's eating away at me or something like that. I'd like to.
Oh, that's what I'd like to hear.
I'd like to think I'm getting healthier.
To do it. It's, like, it's just happening. That to me is the most perfect thing to say. I'm not trying to do this. I'm losing weight, just like it's coming off like butter off of a toast. You know.
It's the pandemic where everybody else starts eating. I had time to think about what I was eating. Before the pandemic, I was so busy. I had 4 kids in high school. You know, now I've only got one. In the 2 years of the pandemic, I've gotten 3 kids to graduate high school and either gone off to college or gone off to work. And, you know, they're all working. You know, we have a labor shortage. So all my kids that decided not to go to college are working 50 hours a week. So,
well, that's good.
Yeah, for them, it's great.
I told there's a labor shortage. I always thought there was just not many women being pregnant. I don't know.
Well, that too, because of the pandemic, a lot of women got pregnant. But, you know, when a lot of these women went to go back to work, there weren't enough people at the daycare centers. So the daycare centers were raising their prices. And it gets to a point, if the price is so high for the daycare center, it's not worth working. You might as well, you know what I mean? Exactly. If you got to pay so much for daycare, that it's not worth the, you know, you come home with 25 cents on the hour after you've paid for everything, you might as well just stay home. And I think that has a lot to do with it, although they don't talk about it that much.
Yeah, I think a lot of women are home just doing just you know, washing the kids because they can't afford it. I mean, in Europe they have daycare, you know, universally for people.
Yeah, totally different attitude. Totally different attitude over there.
Yeah.
Anyway, are you ready to get the show going?
Yes, let's get the show going. Let's get the other guys on board.
All right, let's bring our crew of our favorite comedians, our favorite funny people. I'm going to do it in order of appearances. So this next guy has been with us almost a year and a half. He showed up one day when I was still doing the show with Seth Ressler, and we had a great time. And he's got the best stories in comedy and radio. If you watch this podcast on a regular basis, you know who it is. It's Sam Greenfield, everybody. Welcome to the show, Sam.
Always a pleasure. I decided to grow a beard. I didn't want to be alone.
Oh, well, you fit right in here with this group. So,
although Andy looks like a close-up of a Greek washerwoman.
Who's got the baby? That's not in my house, is it?
That's the kid.
They were there. We're in the toy aisle. I was wondering about this thing.
By the way, I don't know if you saw CBS Sunday Morning.
That's not a tractor, is it?
But Penelope Cruz was on.
Oh, I missed that one, but
you can't be prettier than her.
Oh no, not really.
Jesus.
I got Paramount Plus, so I can go back and watch it.
Oh man, I mean, she's just. And her work in Vicky Cristina Barcelona was amazing.
Yeah, she's good. Did you see Vanilla Sky? Did you ever see Vanilla Sky? I liked her
with Tom Cruise.
Yeah, that was.
It saddens me that he is such a great actor, and he belongs to Scientology. It's almost to me. I know you're going to think I'm kidding, but I'm not. It's almost to me like a brilliant actor happens to be a Nazi. It just happens. He's got that thing about not. It's terrible. They're awful. Yeah. They're terrible. Yeah. But he's great. Jesus, he is just. I mean, A Few Good Men.
Yeah, he's good. Anyway, let's get everybody else out here. Then I'm going to read our poem, and we're going to go. We got a news quiz tonight, Sam. So I don't want to waste too much time.
I shall prep myself now.
Coming up on the program next, we're going to get him in the group here. It was great because Andy again is out on the road. I love when he's out on the road because we always have such great finds when he goes out there. And one of the finds was a couple months ago. He was at his friendly neighborhood laundromat. And he ran into our old friend Jason Grant. We got him on the show, and he's been a regular ever since. So how about a warm welcome back to the cast for Jason Grant, everybody. Here he is.
Now, Jason not only has a great beard, but great hair.
Yes.
Well, as I said, I spent my afternoon at the Steve Banyan Hair Cafe.
I mean, look at him. Just looks great.
I mean, yeah, sort of a blue-eyed white devil with rakish hair. I think it's
I, on the other hand, look like someone saying, if you see this man, avoid contact.
well,
Yeah.
funny. Mark and Andy were talking about losing weight, and I'm thinking, you really should try getting on swimming beats. There's some other exercises that are incredibly slimming. I can speak from
I went
experience.
from, I had a friend who lives in Israel now, and he lost 120 pounds. And I
Wow.
asked him how he did it. And he said, when I tell you, he said, it's going to be so simple. You're going to go, why didn't I do that? I said, okay. He said, diet and exercise.
Yeah.
That's it. He said, don't screw around. No modern shit. Just diet. So that's what I did. And I went from 211 to 160.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was when I don't have a scale at home, and so every time
Why?
I don't need one. I've never had to gain or lose weight for
Howard.
anyone other than my doctor.
You heard me,
And my,
Jason.
my doctor has a scale. So,
And you're there every day?
I'm
No.
4 years ago, I got, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to weigh in every day. That would just depress me,
Not at all. When you weigh less, you eat. When you weigh more, you don't. That's how you work this.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's not how it works. That's not how it worked for me. What worked for me is he goes, hey, you're doing really good on the weight loss. I go, really? How much? You go,
I'm sorry. Also, weed and lots of it. If I can drop a weight, if I can drop a name.
Okay. Well, we're in Ann Arbor, so that works.
That means, you're in a college town. I see.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it legal in Michigan?
Yes. It's 28.
Legal?
Absolutely, positively, 100% legal. But there's some limits on it. You can only have 12 of your own plants growing on your own property.
You can only have what? I'm sorry.
12 plants growing on your property. Now, they can be any size. You can, if you're a good cultivator.
Who has 12 friends?
No, 12 plants. You can have 12 marijuana
I can't hear
plants.
you. You sound like you're speaking through a busted radio tube.
Sorry.
Or recreating Grand Funk Railroad.
It's about the same.
No, what I'm saying, we can have 12. No? Shit.
This is bad.
Is it? Hold on.
Am I the only one, Jason? Does that sound bad?
No, you sound great. I can hear you all.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Jason?
Yeah, I can hear you real well.
Oh, well, I guess Andy's the only one that, or Sam is the only one that can't hear us. Andy, I had to put him on mute because, hold on, let me take him off mute.
Hello.
All right, you're off mute. Andy, I had to put you on mute because it was so noisy on your.
I know, it was like a bunch of kids screaming, and also, I tell you, this is the heartbeat of the whole place. I'm kind of worried
Sam,
about
can you
this.
hear Andy?
There you go.
My life. Is this my life before or after my gymnastics 12-year-old viewpoint here? It's like blonde, blue-eyed.
Expressive.
Hey, we got one more. We got one more. I'm going to bring out here, and then I'm going to read our poem.
Okay.
All right.
This next comedian joined us about 3 or 4 weeks ago. We've had her on at least one other time since then, but she's back.
Yeah.
She comes with a photograph rather than a live shot because, she's a pro and she's got to have her best look. So, how about warmly welcoming Brandy Alexander, everybody? Brandy, it's
What's
good to see you.
happening? How you doing?
Hey,
Hey,
You know,
so here we are. What's
in
that?
Walmart when the Barbies have a trailer park for them, Trailer park Barbie. Here we go.
There we go.
That's my favorite Barbie.
Yeah, of course. And this is the guy. This is like a male version that hangs out with Barbie. This way.
Isn't that Ken? Isn't Ken the male?
It's supposed
Barbie?
to be Ken, but he's supposed to be a mermaid.
Well, if you're willing to overlook the shortcomings.
No, this is what in 20 years, this is what you're supposed to look like to get married.
By the way, I'm a football fan, not a huge football fan, but right now, the Vikings are playing the Bears. If you're watching this with tremendous intensity, you got to get a life. It's okay to watch it. I have it on, but I don't know if you heard me mention this, but I live in New York City, and every Sunday I am forced to watch the Giants and the Jets, which is the same thing as a doctor saying, you know, you don't need root canal, but what the hell? They're awful. They're boring. They're losing. They're terrible. And and no one at CBS Control says, you know something, these folks deserve a break. Gotta be a better game on. Because fans of those people would go batshit if you didn't show it. But they're terrible.
In New York, too. That's the sad thing, that it's in New York.
Well, you know, the Jets haven't won a Super Bowl since 1968. The Giants haven't won a Super Bowl since, I don't know.
They beat the Patriots back in what,
2006?
Yeah. Well, the Giants are the only team to beat Tom Brady twice.
Well, you know the great joke about that, right? From Peyton Manning.
What?
Somebody at NFL said, and that great catching it off of his helmet. And Peyton Manning goes, I might have thrown it to his numbers.
Ooh, nothing like digging your brother.
I got to tell you something. Those two guys are great.
Oh, the Monday night that they do?
Oh, they are great.
They are great. And then they'll have guests on that are good
yeah,
too.
No, they are out of this. They are so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that, and I forgot about that one.
All right. Well, let me get to the poem, and then we'll get to. I want to give time for our news quiz.
Hi,
tonight.
Brandy.
Hey, how you doing?
All right, dear. How are you?
Good.
All right. So every week, my wife writes a poem based on the headlines that she's collected during the week.
Uh-huh.
And here's this week's poem, and we just use that as a launching pad for our discussion. So here's her December 20th poem. Pfizer has a COVID pill. Unvaccinated. Can't you just be chill? Tornado plight cleanup has begun. Kentucky families have nowhere to run. Duo winners are John Daly and his son, but the coverage is not about number one. Golf pair that came in second place, Tiger and his son, the winners displace. New York City has a female cop. Keechant Sewell is the chief at the top. Joe Manchin has a potty mouth. Huffington Post reporter got the scoop on this lout. Training target has destroyed a U.S. ship. A Gulf of Aden nasal slip. Michelle is now Ambassador Kwan. There will be skating in Belize from now on. Christmas Day is on the way. Tell that jolly fat guy that I said hey. And that's Susan Sweetman's poem for this week.
If Manchin was kidnapped, and they told me it would take a quarter to ransom him, I'd come up with 8 cents. What a piece of garbage. I don't understand why people are upset with me. Because you're a redneck piece of shit. That's why.
And you do see Jen Psaki. What Jen Psaki today was
ripped his ass.
No, I know. She really
good
because she was saying, look, when he was there, he was saying this, and then he gets on this Sunday morning show
he's
and
a whore.
Yeah.
And
that's
he's a coal whore. COAL. You know, it's like when Trump said clean coal. There's no such thing as clean coal.
Well, you know, it's West. You know what, though? I mean, we got to win more than just 50 Senate seats, Sam. I mean,
well, you're going to win in Pennsylvania.
You know, it's a lot of these.
You're going to win in Ohio.
Okay.
So that's 52. That's all you need.
Okay, Portland seat.
And then you can tell Manchin. And then you can tell Manchin, go run as a Republican.
That doesn't really matter.
What a horrible human being. Jesus.
Anyway,
sorry.
Yeah, Michelle Kwan, our Olympic skater, is going to be the ambassador to Belize, and Carolyn Kennedy is the ambassador to Australia now.
They got to get that. They always have to get that woman a gig.
Kennedy?
Yeah.
Well, she came close to being the.
How many people do you think hear her name and go, "Who is she?"
Carolyn Kennedy?
Yeah. Think about that. Do your kids know who she is?
No.
Nope.
That's what
No.
I'm saying.
Yeah, that is kind of you know,
I mean, how old is she? 60? Is that a good guess?
60.
Is she 60? I guess so. She was
Okay.
Yeah.
she was alive when JFK got shot, so
So
I guess
22,
she'd have to be.
37. That was 58 years ago.
Yeah, so she's probably 60. Yeah. that sounds
Okay.
like-
No one,
Yeah.
and I'm not mad at her. You know, she seems to have done, nice work for people. No one knows who she is.
Well, how many people know who Amy Carter is, or
But Amy Carter has kept a much lower profile.
or Chelsea Clinton? I mean, it's
Now, Amy Carter. Now, Amy Grant, on the other hand. Now you're talking.
maybe she's the ambassador to Nashville.
About to say,
Yeah.
She was on CBS Sunday Morning.
Oh, was she?
Pretty as a picture. Married to Vince Gill.
Oh, that's right.
oh, well, someone had to do it.
You know, she has a
That's
nice voice. She makes nice pop hits. I'm begging her. If you love God, that's fine. Stop. Just stop.
Stop.
I
What?
don't care.
Oh well.
Please.
You know, and that Andy, I'm going to take you down here, buddy.
Andy, are you rearranging shopping carts?
I don't know. He can't. I had to mute him. There's just too much noise coming from that camera. So
Shopping carts.
is that what it is? Shopping carts.
Well, it ain't me.
Well, hey, Andy, next time, as soon as we see something there that is, how do you do that?
So this is the blanket poncho that the Kentucky service is sending out to their homeless shelters.
That'll teach them.
Oh, there you go.
There you
Jason, where do you live specifically?
Ann Arbor, Michigan.
God, that's a great town.
That is a great town.
Home of
It
Iggy
is.
Pop and a few other things.
How does he stay looking like that? That amazes me. I
Who,
have
Iggy?
I
Iggy
have
Pop?
more fat on my teeth after a dinner.
I had to explain who Iggy was to my young 22-year-old nephew and some of his stage antics that he was renowned for in the 60s and 70s. He found it rather illuminating. But, the guy actually, he helped Nico film a short film for her first album, The Marble Index.
I remember
It
that.
was filmed in 1970 down off Platte Road, not too far out of town. It looks interesting, it's very 1969, filmed in 8mm, but again, when accompanied with Nico's voice and whatnot, it makes for an interesting touchstone from a time now sadly gone.
John Cale was involved with that too, right? Wasn't
John
he?
Cale was the guy that did the mixing and production,
That's what I
and
thought.
Lisa played most of the instruments and fixed Nico's mistakes, and basically she provided the vocals and the heroine, and he did
Cool.
most of the work. Yeah, on the rest of the album.
Can't underestimate the power of smack.
In her case, it worked. What can you say? I mean,
Thank
We had
you.
so- That was the era when people came from New York to Ann Arbor for
yes.
creating
there
their
was a
for
time
creating
in
their
the
system.
80s when the Ramones used to come here when they were trying to get off smack, and it didn't quite work out for them, but it was fun to bump into them at the Fleetwood every now and then.
It's funny to me when somebody says they came to wherever,
Right.
to wherever to try to get off smack. I go, really? Is that where you were doing? Really? You traveled 715 miles to get up. Really? You couldn't go to a clinic? Is that right? Stop.
The Ashton brothers had no problem finding it, so I don't know why
Who?
the Ramones thought that. Scott and Ron Ashton, the other two guys in the Stooges.
Oh, yeah.
They had no problem finding the horse and where to ride
You know,
it.
There was a guy here in New York, big rock critic, and he said something that I thought was so stupid. It just, I laughed at him, and we haven't talked since. He said, rock and roll died the day that Ian Hunter stopped writing about it. And I went, are you insane?
I'm going to paraphrase. I want to say it was George Orwell, but I could be wrong. Who said, "You have to be really well educated to say something that's stupid."
I understand exactly what he means.
Yeah, I think that's an Orwell quote. It's right up there with the quote that comes out of the movie Chinatown, where John Huston is saying, if old men, ugly buildings, and whores last long enough, they become respectable. And I think
it's funny. I was dating a woman at the time of that quote I told you about, and she was really smart and really sweet, and she's married now, got kids. She's great. She put her hand on my arm and gently squeezed it when he said the thing about Ian Hunter. And she said, "Listen, you're a smart guy. I'm not telling you what to do, but you got to dump him because there's something wrong with him." Okay. If you think that Ian Hunter is the cornerstone of rock and roll literature, there's something wrong with you. I said, "Well, I didn't disagree." And she said, I wanted to drive that home, though. I didn't want to hear, "Yeah, you're right." Now I said, no, you have to stop talking to him because one day you're going to look at me and go, "Well, not everything he says." No, everything he says is bad.
All right.
Bring on the quiz.
It's time for the quiz. All right. Here's how we're going to do this because of the difficulty we have with the sound and everything. I'm going to give everybody a question in this order. Andy, Sam, Jason, Brandy, the same order that we introduced you to the show. Basically seniority. Andy's been here the longest. Sam.
I'll say.
Got it. Anyway, you'll get to answer the first question. Then I am going to ask if anybody wants to follow up. Here's how it's going to work. You get a point for answering the first question. If somebody wants to take the follow-up, they take the point away from that person that got the point and get an extra one, so they'll have 2 points.
Okay.
If they want the follow-up question and they don't get it, they lose 2 points, and the other person keeps their point. What's that?
Kinky.
Isn't that kinky? All right, here we go. And I'm only doing that so that this lasts a little longer.
I've said that in bed.
Hello. All right.
Back in my car.
What?
Never mind.
No, I heard it. I was.
All right.
You Teutonic twat.
All right. Now, of course, to take that point away and to get 2 points, the second question is going to be a little bit harder. All right. House lawmakers voted to hold what former Trump White House staff member in contempt of Congress? Go ahead, Andy. Andy, that's for you. Do I have him on mute? No, he's alive. Andy, can you hear me?
It's alive. It's alive.
Andy, are you with us?
I can hear you. What was the question?
Okay, I'll read the question again.
I'm with you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. Can you hear me? That's the question. Can you hear me?
Can you hear?
Yes, we can hear you.
Lawmakers.
Can you hear me now?
Washington, yes.
All right. So what's the question?
All right. Lawmakers in Washington voted to hold.
So something's wrong with your mic, man.
Is it really? Can anybody hear me?
I can hear you.
Everybody, but
I can't
everybody
hear a
but
word
Andy
you're
can hear
saying.
me.
I can't hear a word you're saying.
Really? Let me see what I got.
I can't hear a word you're saying.
All right, hold on.
Yeah, you're coming in now. I can hear fine.
You can hear me now? You can hear me now? Well, this is going to suck.
Now you have a fuzz to it, man.
Really? God.
It's like overpowering the mic. Now I can hear you.
Hold on just a second. Let me go to my volume controls here. Yeah, I'm not overpowering on the volume. How about now? I just turned it down.
Now I can hear you fine. But once you started to do the question, it went berserk.
All right. Well, hold on. All right. Can you hear me now? Is that not
I can
good?
hear you now.
Okay.
Jesus.
That's
Housemakers,
good.
House lawmakers, House of Representatives, voted to hold which former White House staff member in contempt of Congress?
Oh, I don't know that one.
For 1 point in the lead. All right. Sam, you get that one.
Mark Meadows.
Ah, there we go. Does anybody want to challenge that point? All right, we'll go to the next question then.
Who gets this one? Well, I'm asking.
All right. This one. Well, you already got a point, Sam. So we're going to Jason now.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. Anybody can once I ask the question and they answer it, everybody gets to take the point away by taking the harder question. All right. Okay. Which Republicans joined the Democrats in voting for the contempt charges? There's
I
two.
would say, are you talking about the committee? I believe that'd be Liz Cheney.
Uh-huh.
I believe she's one of those who voted for the contempt charge.
All right.
And then there's the other one whose name I can't remember because I don't know. I'm sure he's busy in a men's stall somewhere next to a former Republican senator or something. I'm not sure. But I'm going to go with Liz Cheney.
All right. You know what? I'm going to give you that just because I'm going to make the second one is going to be the challenge question. Anybody want to try to pick up a point and take Jason's point away from him?
The other person?
The other person, yeah.
Kissinger.
Very good.
Yeah. You got it.
Sam's got two now.
There you go.
All right, Brandy. Your question.
All right.
All right. Who was ordered by the New York Joint
I don't know.
Commissioner? What's that?
I don't know.
Clever.
This is for Brandy. Who was ordered by New York's Joint Commission on Public Ethics to return $5.1 million he received for his 2020 pandemic memoir?
One of them brothers, the cuckoo, what they call the cuckoo.
I'm going to give it to you. The Cuckoo Brothers. Yeah, one of the Cuckoo Brothers is right.
Did they say he had to give it back though,
Yes.
Yes.
or give it to the
Andy.
state?
So Brandy's got a point. Sam's got two. Anybody want to try to take Brandy's away by having the next question?
Jason came because he owed me because he disappeared.
That's why he owes you.
Yep.
Who
so
wants
he
to try to
can't
take her?
it.
Who wants to try to take her point and win two? Anybody?
I
I'll
do.
give it a shot.
Who's going to?
I do.
All right, Andy is. Okay, here we go. I'm not Andy. Sam. All right.
Sam.
All right. What was the name of Cuomo's book? Memoir.
Oh,
Nice ass.
you should get the point for that.
Sam, don't you gotta be serious. You're gonna lose both your points.
Nice
though,
ass.
if you get that wrong.
I have no idea.
No, nice
Nick-
ass is the best.
That's a great. I'm sure he'll come out with that memoir later. But this memoir was called American Crisis.
So I'm in the lead.
You're in the lead with one. Andy has 0. Sam has 0. Jason has 0.
Oh, brutal.
Nice
Okay.
ass wasn't right.
Nice ass was not right. Okay, Andy, you got the next question.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
Which longtime Fox News anchor announced he's leaving the cable news channel after 18 years?
Who gets this one?
This is
Oh,
Andy.
God. I don't know this one. Go ahead. I don't know it. Go ahead.
Okay, it's Chris Wallace.
Don't know it.
All right.
Thank you.
Since you didn't get that, there's no challenge.
You'd have
Sam.
to watch Fox News to get that.
Sam gets the next one. Before leaving Fox News, Chris Wallace raised objections to Tucker Carlson's new streaming show on a network called Fox Nation. What is the name of Tucker Carlson's series? Sammy?
Not a clue.
Patriot Purge is the name of Tucker Carlson's. Yeah, all right.
Not something stinks here.
Wow.
All right, here we go. This next one is for Jason.
Yes, sir.
Who is Keechant Sewell? Oh, you know what?
Axe murderer?
What's that?
A South Korean axe murderer?
No, that's not it. Brandy, you want to take that one? You don't lose anything, Brandy, if you want to take that one.
No, I'm not gonna take it. I'm gonna stay.
All right. Brandy, this wasn't part of the rules at the beginning, but I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give you a hint, only because Keechant Sewell is a black female, and so are you. So I thought I'll give you that hint. So not as
I'm half and half. So give me just a half a point, as long as I'm still in the lead.
No, you do have to answer the question. I mean, just being half and half doesn't get you a point. You have to answer the question. Keechant Sewell was just selected to become the first black female police commissioner in New York City.
Oh, in New York City. Damn it.
Oh yeah, but she messed up right at the end.
Yeah. So right now it's Brandy in the lead with 1, right?
Yep.
And everybody else has got 0. Let's go to the next question. Which U.S. senator cursed at a reporter when asked about his efforts to cut the child tax credit from the Build Back Better Act? That's for Andy. Which U.S. senator yelled at a reporter when he was asked about his efforts to cut the child tax credit from the Build Back Better Act?
Manson?
Yes, very good.
Was that Manson?
Manchin, Joe Manchin, correct.
Redneck piece of shit.
I'll go with Manson. Charles Manson?
No, you got it. You got it right the first time. Don't guess again. You already got it right, Andy. Can he not hear me still?
He can hear you.
Okay.
Charles Manson. Charles Manson.
No,
right?
not Charles. No, Joe Manchin, not Charles Manson.
George Washington.
All right.
Are they related?
Anybody want to take his point and earn 2 or risk losing 2
Yeah, what the hell?
by taking the follow-up question?
I'll give it a shot.
All right. Let's go to the next question then. Right now we got Brandy and Andy tied for the lead with 1. The next question is for Sam. The USS Portland successfully tested a new high-energy laser weapon, destroying a training target. What branch of the military tested that weapon?
Navy?
Correct. Anybody want to take Sam's point by taking a tougher question?
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
All right, Jason. Which body of water was this test conducted on?
I'm going to say the Atlantic.
No. All right.
Raquel Welch?
No. Sam, you already got a point. Don't risk it. Don't risk it.
I'm sorry.
Those are floating devices, Sam. Those are floating devices.
I see.
I would say India.
Forgive me.
Indian Ocean.
Raquel Welch would mix pretty well.
The test was done on the Gulf of Aden, which is between Somalia and Yemen. And
Okay.
off the Indian Ocean, yes.
Yes.
That's close.
An even tougher question. We won't get to the even tougher question, but I had another one after that, which was, what is the name of the weapon system? And the answer to that is the Laser Weapon System Demonstrator, which I think is kind of odd. I think they're going to give it another name once it works.
That's a great name.
Isn't it? All right, we're to Jason's question now. Jason, which former Olympic champion has been tapped by Joe Biden as the American ambassador to Belize? Belize.
Didn't we just mention her?
We did mention her. She was in the poem. So even if you didn't know it, you got a hint on that one.
The name escapes me, so I'm just going to go with Oksana Bile.
No. No, I'm sorry. It's Michelle Kwan. She was a skater.
That's the same thing. I mean, they
And we
both
can
had
all use a little
skates.
Quan.
Quan.
Yeah, they both
All
were
right,
a little.
it's Brandy's turn now. Which
Okay.
feminist writer who died this week at the age of 69 used her great-grandmother's name as a pen name?
Oh, that's easy. Bell Hooks.
Very good.
Who?
Bell Hooks. Anybody want to challenge
Oh,
No.
Brandy on that with a tougher question?
wow.
Wait.
What's that? Nope. All right, we'll go on to the next one then. Good answer, Brandy. Good job. Okay, Brandy's got 2. Sam and Andy each have 1. And Jason, nothing.
Yeah.
Which driver claimed his first Formula One World Championship this week? Which Formula One driver claimed his first World Championship this week? I'll take the country if you don't know the name, if you know which country he's from. Oh, I'm sorry. This is for Andy. I'm sorry. I should have said that. It's Andy's question. Which Formula One driver won his first World Championship? Can you hear me, Andy? Can you hear me? Al Unser? No, it wasn't Al Unser. All
Al
right.
Unser?
It was not Al Unser, but thanks for playing.
Al Unser.
No, not Al Unser. All right. This next one goes to Sam. Sam, which dating app was
Can't
fined?
hear you. Can't hear you.
Again with the can't hear.
Bad,
Hold
bad
on.
static.
Hold on. Let me go back to my mic. All right, can you hear me now? I'm getting rid of some stuff here. All right, how about now?
Still bad static.
Still nothing?
Sounds like Mark Farner
How about
singing harmony.
How about now, Mark Farner? How
Still,
about now?
I'll let you know when it's not good. When it's good.
Okay. I don't know what you're hearing.
Now it's okay.
All right. You ready for the question now? Here
Sure.
it is. Which dating app was fined $7 million in Norway for sharing data without user consent? Did you get that?
I heard it. Dating app. Which dating app? No clue.
All right. It was Grindr. You don't lose any points for that.
Grinder. I never touched
Grindr.
it.
Grinder.
Grindr was selling personal information on its users to advertisers in Norway.
Grinder doesn't sound like a dating app you would say, oh, more of that.
Jason, you want to weigh in on that one?
Well, having been a Grinder Customer of the Year for 7 years running, Sam, I'll disagree with you. It's perhaps my favorite app next to Dahmer.
That's great.
Dahmer
That
is the
is
combination
genius.
of Uber Eats and cannibalism.
Perfect.
So,
Perfect.
yeah.
There you go.
It's one of my faves. What can I say? I mean, how else does a man my age manage to go out there and get some action and not have to spend money up front? It's absolutely fantastic. But, well, whatever.
That's true.
Yeah.
Kraft set up. Oh, this is for Jason.
Oh no! Here we go.
Jason, Kraft has set up a special website offering $20 to its customers. Why?
An incentive to get vaccinated.
No, this is for their customers. This isn't for their employees. This is for their customers.
For the customers. You said this is for Kraft food?
There's a Kraft food item or
Yes.
some other item that they sell, because they sell more than just food, that that they are offering a $20 coupon for because of the shortage, which I think is kind of cool. You get a $20 coupon for something they have a shortage of. I presume that means
for a shortage.
I presume it's for when they don't have a shortage anymore. You can go and
go out there and say a cheese ball.
There. Oh, you're right. I'll give it to you because it's
cheese ball is my grinder handle. So
hey gang, we're to the last question, and we are all tied at 1. Everybody's got 1 point now. Yeah, Sam would have
everybody for themselves.
Here we go. All right. Which drug maker announced following their recent lab tests that their coronavirus pill should provide effective protection against the Omicron variant?
Moderna.
Pfizer.
Moderna.
Have you met my girlfriend, Moderna? The craziest girl on the block. You'll know her the minute you see her. She's the one who is in a complete state of shock.
It was both Moderna and Pfizer.
Oh,
and the CDC, as a follow-up, I'm going to get, you know what, everybody gets a tie. We're going to tie this news quiz because everybody finished.
Oh, that's so Ann Arbor-esque of you. Everybody has a tie, no victors. That's an Ann Arbor-esque thing of you, you know?
Really?
It's okay with me.
I'm old enough to remember that tie between Michigan and Ohio State.
Are you old enough to remember the one between Michigan and was it Michigan State
and Notre Dame?
Yes.
Yes, I'm old enough to remember that one too. Yep, Ara Parsegian and not Musty. I was going to say Musty Waters. Musty Waters. Who was
the hell?
Duffy Doherty? Was it
Duffy Doherty?
Duffy Doherty.
and
Dusty Waters. What the hell is that?
Parsegian caught holy hell for that because he played for the tie.
Is that Benton Harbor's drinking water? What is that? Dusty Waters? What is that?
No, that's Flint, Michigan.
Oh no, we got another city, Sam. I don't know if it made the news or not, but we got another city of Benton Harbor's got bad water now too.
Gee, Benton Harbor, and it's such a prosperous area.
Yeah.
In a state surrounded by the largest concentration of fresh water on planet Earth.
There you go.
And we can't
get
a
city to care of it.
I think the problem is that these cities that have the bad water are not near any of that fresh water.
No, the problem is you have city officials who are blowholes.
Oh.
Well, just because you walk into their office and you find them with money sticking in their hole doesn't necessarily mean that they're corrupt. As Lou Reed put in one of his great songs, I forget which one. It's ridiculous. I mean, even the Romans understood you had to provide proper water to the populace. If they could get it right, you'd like to think we should be able to figure it out at least a little bit.
No, the city officials in those places are morons. Because you have more fresh water in those areas than any place on the planet.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So they should be arrested. They are killing people.
How about
they are killing children.
Worse than that, they're creating circumstances where the children are going to be learning impaired, amongst other things. That exposure to heavy metal usually.
They're going to be learning.
They're creating the new world working class.
Yeah. I say exposure to heavy metal is what gave us the Claudio Julians and the Tudor dynasty. Look how that worked out.
Exposure to heavy metal is what gave us Black Sabbath.
Okay, I'll give Heavy Metal a couple credit points for that one. Okay, because I kind of dug the first few albums. I mean, when you're smoking Bad Colombian and listening to War Pigs and Fairies Wear Boots over and over, man, it was the way to start a day. Sorry to interrupt,
Anyway.
Mark.
That's all right. Hey, we'll try another quiz next week. That was fun. I like those. Those are fun.
Oh yeah. Let's do that again.
I thought the one with Chris Cuomo was tough.
Yeah.
Hey, can I ask a question, Sam?
What was my answer? Nice ass?
I want to do the quiz as long as I have a preset of the answers. Okay.
No. Here's what we're gonna. No, then you can Google them all. I don't want that.
You know what amazes
all right,
me?
multiple choice.
You know what amazes me?
I like multiple choice.
Yeah, we can do I tell you what, we can do multiple choice, but some of those multiple choices might be the follow up. But here's what we also could do. We could do just like we did this week, but add a third component, which is a funny punchline. In other words, here's the answer. Here's the tougher question. Now give us a punchline for that.
When I was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and
who was the host?
Regis. No. That's not true. That's not true. What's her name?
Vieira?
Yes.
Meredith Vieira?
She was great. She was great. No, but here's the thing. The first question on that show was so easy that one of the answers was always a joke answer.
Oh, that's funny.
Because it was that easy.
Yeah.
But it amazed me. But it was always that.
Yeah. How much did you come away with?
100,000.
Oh, not bad. There's a paycheck.
And the one that I stopped on for 250,000.
Yeah.
They could have given me a year, and I wouldn't have known it. I had no clue. By the way, Andrew Cuomo. Listen, if you are, this amazes me. If you are Andrew Cuomo, and how many women, 20, is that a good guess, have accused you of sexual, I'm being nice here, sexual indiscretion, and your response is, hey, I'm Italian. You should be put in prison for that. You should be put in prison for that answer.
Well,
or be dealt with by Italians.
No.
Yeah, if you can find 3 that'll disagree.
Yeah.
Well, there was a time we had a sort of a professional courtesan set, Pamela Harriman, who later became an ambassador, is I think representative of that. There were in fact women who would accommodate some of these guys, so at least they didn't have to engage in this kind of buffoonish, I don't know, hand grabbery, and go about their business and again be accommodated in the off duty hours.
I want to tell you something.
It doesn't seem to occur anymore.
Burt Reynolds was asked if he was ever going. This relates to Pamela Harriman. Burt Reynolds was asked, was he ever going to write an autobiography? And I don't know if you know anything about Burt Reynolds, but he was a very, very plain-spoken guy. You know, no BS with Burt Reynolds. And he said, you know something, I've been asked to do a bio. I just can't. I don't want to get into this is a quote. I don't want to get into that Shelley Winters, who haven't I fucked thing. that is a direct quote. Who haven't I fucked? And I saw an interview with Shelley Winters, and they're talking to her, you know, nicely. And she, out of nowhere, she says, you know, Frederick March and I were doing a symposium, and no one could see this, but he grabbed my ass. And the interviewer said, no one wants to know that. No one wants to know that he grabbed your ass. And she goes, Mrs. March did. Another interesting story about Shelley Winters. She goes in for an interview, or an audition. and she is talking to this casting director who's probably young enough to be her grandson. And he says, now, we have a certain criteria, blah, 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 blah. She reaches into her pocketbook, which is enormous, and pulls out an Academy Award and places it on the desk. Then she reaches into her pocketbook and pulls out another Academy Award, for Diary of Anne Frank and for Patch of Blue. And she says, my name is Shelley Winters. These Oscars say people think I can act. Do I really have to audition? And the guy went, no, I'm sorry, no. No, you don't. And it amazed me that she was even asked to audition. I found it amazing. But that line by Burt Reynolds was just out of this world. Who haven't I fucked? And another thing he said, they asked him how come he never performed as James Bond. Because, good-looking guy, macho.
Right. Yeah.
And he said, the problem is that the guy doing it now, at that time, was Pierce Brosnan. He said, and I got nothing against Pierce. He seems like a nice fella. But if I punched him in the chest, I'd crack him.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say no to that. By the way, the movie Boogie Nights?
Yes, fine movie.
He was so mad about having to do that, he fired his agent.
But yet he still got an Academy Award nomination out of it.
He sure did. I think it was Alan Arkin who beat him.
Yeah, was that couldn't have been for that for that Little Miss Sunshine movie, was it?
Yes.
That
Yep.
lost out to Little Boogie Nights,
Yep.
which is
Oh, look, we got a viewer that gave us a comment.
And it is.
It's an exclamation point.
Hey,
Here we go. We got a viewer. Yay! What's that?
Hey, from Greg Morris of what, Mission Impossible?
From Mission Impossible. Yeah.
He's dead.
Well, so is this show. Hello.
Folks, by the way, when Greg Morris is doing that show on Mission Impossible,
Uh-huh.
Peter Graves said, the reason we love Greg Morris is because no one has less technical expertise than Greg Morris.
Which is, again, a testament to his skill as an actor, because he sure didn't look like he had it.
Oh, no, he was great. He was great. Yeah. They said, but, oh, no, absolutely, I agree with you. They said, but Greg Morris, they used to joke about it. They say, Greg, we have to screw in a light bulb. You want me to call a tech person? No, he was terrible. And he would laugh about it. He knew he sucked.
Yeah. That's why they call it acting.
Well,
Yes.
My favorite thing with Greg Morris is when Dick Van Dyke and Mary Tyler Moore thought that they had his kid, and they hadn't met him. And he comes over their house, and they find out he's black.
That episode, yeah.
That was Greg Morris, huh?
That was Greg Morris.
Huh. Hey, I was wondering if I could ask Sam a question directly, or if that's not hijacking the podcast.
No, that's fine.
Well, Sam, you guys have got one mayor going out, but you have a new mayor coming in, and I just wonder if you could say anything about him, because you're there on, you're in New York. I'm not. I get what the media tell me.
Every day, I thank God that de Blasio's leaving.
Okay.
When he was running for president, if you remember.
Yeah, barely.
I said to my wife, this city has 50 problems every day because it's big. It's so big. It's 5 times bigger than Chicago. Nothing against Chicago and nothing against Detroit, but it's 5 times bigger.
Oh,
and
we're shrinking all the time, so
and he's running for president. And by the way, his rating was at 0, and he had no right to be running. And I thought to myself, what are you doing? No one wants you to be president. Your wife doesn't want you to be president. And so, in that respect, and also whenever a problem rose up, and I'm being not sarcastic, but I'm being a little more cogent. His response was, "Oh yeah, that." You know,
Well, maybe he just thought because of so many other New York mayors that have run for president that he had to. Maybe he thought that was part of the job.
the only one that's run for president is Rudy Giuliani.
Oh, what about Bloomberg?
That was just a money thing. That was Bloomberg telling the Democratic Party, "I'm going to throw money into you, and we're going to get a good guy elected president." He had no intention of winning, and the reason I say that is because it takes too much time. You know, this guy's a billionaire.
Right.
You know, and he said, and I saw him, I interviewed him, and he said, "My greatest joy in life would be to buy Donald Trump and sell him." And so my next response was, "Who would you sell him to?" And he goes, "Who? What do you got?"
Did you hear about?
I've never seen a rich guy have less respect for another rich guy than he had for Trump, because he said Trump is a con man, he's a thief, he hated him.
Yeah.
And rich guys don't like Trump.
Did you guys see Trump getting booed by his supporters about taking the vaccine booster?
It's happened a couple of times.
Did you see where Trump's people walked into a cheesecake factory and wouldn't take a regular chair, and they were asked to please take a regular chair, and they wouldn't, and so the police were called?
What kind of chair did they want?
In other words, please wait till you're seated. No, we'll sit where we want.
Wow.
And they called the cops, and the cops said, "You're going to sit where they tell you to, or you're going to be in prison."
Wow.
And all I kept saying to myself was, "Tell them you won't do it. Tell them you're not going to sit where they want you to. Please, God, tell them. Please throw your ass in jail, you redneck pieces of shit. Please, please get traded. Please go to prison and get traded for a pack of Cools. Please."
I am loving all of these people.
Not Cools.
I'm loving all these January 6 people crying at their sentencing. Oh,
can't get enough of it.
I can't get enough of. Oh, I'm crying too, but it's tears of joy.
As my people would say, I'm kvelling.
Yeah, that's it. I'm kvelling. I love it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Those pieces of garbage who are beating up cops. You know what I'd like to see? By the way, you're going to be in prison, and you see these 5 cops? Those are your brothers. You were beating up. So boys, have at it.
Have at it.
Pieces of shit. Cops are out there risking their life. Oh, by the way, did you see what Sarah Palin said? I love this.
Well, now what?
"I will get vaxxed over my dead body."
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
you win.
you.
You win.
You win. You win. These Patriots, though, these Patriots, when you think about it, is there anything else they could die for that would be as good for the country?
My personal pleasure.
Yeah. But your personal pleasure doesn't do anything for the rest of the country. These people are patriots.
It would if she died.
I'm talking about these people that are against vaccines. They're against teaching American history the way it happened. They want to teach it the way they want to teach it. I mean, all these people, if they would just die off, that's the best thing they could do for this country. So
they're not going to. They're just not.
Well, they will. Eventually,
they say it.
Yeah.
I mean,
and by the way,
yes.
Until she made that quote, let me ask a question. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I've been wrong before. Who gives a shit what she thinks?
Nobody.
No one.
She has
She's not smart. She's not smart. She's pretty. She's not smart. There's no reason for her to talk.
I think, though, you know what? I blame her for people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert getting into
Absolutely.
politics.
I could not agree with you more. Could not have. I blame her for Green more than Boebert.
I don't know. I think Green and Boebert are kind of two peas in the same pot, I think. I don't think there's much difference between them.
What do you think, Jason?
What about him?
What do you think?
I mean, the fact of the matter is that American politics has always had a streak of crazy in it. I need only point at Lester Maddox or George Corley-Wallace. I mean, we can go further than that if we want.
But
Yeah, you can.
But George
One of my-
appointed more African Americans to positions of importance than any Alabama politician in my lifetime.
I can't argue with that, but there was also a time he said that, you ain't going to my schools, only he didn't say it quite like that.
No, he didn't quite say it like that.
No, you might remember Adam Clayton Powell. I mean, let's really go back into the,
If I knew that there was going to be a 2016 through 2021 in American politics, I would have been forever apologizing to Lyndon LaRouche.
Wow.
God, that's wow.
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 That's
Wow.
old. That is old school.
Yeah, that's
old, man.
That is old school, back in the day, old school.
Wow.
Lyndon LaRouche.
Oh.
Lyndon LaRouche, the night before
died in
the
Kennedy
76
Star,
election.
the nuclear power accidents. That was Lyndon LaRouche's big bumper
Yep.
Oh,
sticker.
yeah.
Lyndon LaRouche in 1976, they had 3 hours of television on ABC, and Gerald Ford paid for an hour and a half. Jimmy Carter paid for an hour. They had a half hour in between, and Lyndon LaRouche bought that half hour. And he went on and told the American, do you remember this?
Yes.
On national television, Lyndon LaRouche in a half hour saying a vote for Jimmy Carter was a vote for a war with Mexico.
I'm gonna tell you something.
LaRouche came
What you're talking about now,
out of the
the
Democrat Party.
quotes happen much more frequently in the Midwest, where you guys are, than happen where I am.
There's more inbreeding here.
Time magazine did an article it's 40 years ago, maybe more, where they said, I'll never forget this. They said the lower half of the gene pool is having the majority of the children, and as a result of that, you're going to get, and we're talking about going into 1990 now. He said, whoever said this, we're going to get a legion of idiots.
And here we are.
Had them.
Here we are.
Well, you remember jaywalkers, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, that wasn't Menza.
No. No. But let's not also forget that Harry Truman was excoriated for his language and for some of his colorful flourishes. And I will tell you that Harry Truman, who said things like, I didn't want to spend the rest of my life looking up a mule's ass.
And yet I did.
And what was, in my opinion, one of the best presidents of the 20th century, if not one of the best presidents we've ever had.
Well, he was plain spoken. He wasn't stupid.
The office, but
he was plain spoken. He wasn't stupid.
No, he wasn't. He was, nor was he college educated. But
no, he
anyone
wasn't.
who thought of him as being stupid certainly got their lunch handed to him on a platter. But he had no problem when someone gave a bad review to his marginally talented daughter. He threatened to punch the guy in the nose.
Oh no, I remember that. No, that's not where he threatened to punch him.
Again,
that guy was a critic for a Washington newspaper, and he said, "You're going to have to get a sack of ice when I punch you."
A supporter.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, I remember that well. I lived in D.C. I remember that.
And Harry Truman in 1960, he did not go to the convention, the nominating convention, and he stood actively opposed to JFK because he felt that this process of selecting delegates via the at the time the sort of new way of doing it with the primaries, as opposed to delegates being selected and wrangled at the convention, he called it a beauty pageant. Refused to go, and he refused to go to the inauguration in 1961. I mean, he was a irascible man, but I think he was a good president. I think he was a great senator.
When there was a time when the West Virginia primary was a big deal.
Yes.
And these coal miners are coming out of the coal mines. Good, Sam. And one of them, and JFK is there shaking their hands. And one of them says to JFK, excuse me, I want to make sure I got this right. Is it true that you never had to work a day in your life? And all his people like shitting themselves, like, geez, what do we say? And he held up his hand. He goes, no, 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 no. He goes, that's right. I've never had to work a day in my life. And the coal miner said, brother, you haven't missed a goddamn thing.
Well, yeah, a little bit of honesty never hurt.
That's right. Just tell the truth. I love that story. I love that.
Again, we if you ask me, yeah, you're right. I mean, that we have bombastic idiots in the House of Representatives. Is this something new? I mean, there was a time when representatives literally beat themselves nearly to death over the issue of slavery. I mean, it did happen.
I'm never worried about the House because the House only represents 1/400. The House member only represents 1/435th of the country, so
more or less,
or less, yeah. But I'm never those. And the thing is, it's like when people talk about Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib and all these, like if you got rid of those people from Congress, do you think their district is going to send you, Jim Jordan? No, it's not going to happen.
Those people, they have they need to be there saying the stuff they need to say too. It needs to be out there.
That's right. That is exactly right. They have a constituency.
But
by the way, when that piece of shit Lauren Boebert said that Ilhan Omar was an anti-Semite, Ilhan Omar, about 2 years ago, issued a statement offering solace and love to Jews who perished in the Holocaust.
Oh, wow.
And I never forgot that she said, what happened was horrible, and we must never let it happen again. So when a piece of garbage like Lauren Boebert says she's an anti-Semite and no one calls her on it, that makes me sick.
Well,
what were you going to say, Jason?
Well, we go back to 1988 when Jesse Jackson was actually running an effective primary campaign for president. He had won in North Dakota, the most snowy white place in North America. And the institution, the powers that be in the Democrat Party released the Hymietown comments. And they use anti-Semitism to derail Jesse Jackson's campaign because they felt we weren't ready for a black president. And instead they gave us the electoral powerhouse that was Dukakis, who ended up getting shellacked by George Bush the Senior.
That's funny.
And yet a few years later, I mean, this is where I believe we have sort of these political elites that underestimate the ability of the American people. We did elect a black president, if memory serves. And I think we could have elected one in 88. He was getting votes.
Yeah.
He was his own worst enemy.
In many respects, they all are, though. None of these people running are saints, and we shouldn't want saints, for God's sakes. I mean,
well, I agree with you there. Stop acting like they walk on water.
No, they don't. They all, as much criticism as Nixon rightly gets. Yeah, he was a Machiavellian, paranoid. I wouldn't want to, spend a weekend with him camping.
One of the smartest people that ever ran for president.
Exactly, and yeah, again.
Did you guys catch? Did you guys catch the quote from? Did you guys catch the quote from the former Justice Department lawyer who was complaining that Merrick Garland is treating?
You're going bad.
Oh my God.
Can't hear you.
You can hear me? All right.
Cannot hear you.
Hold on.
I can hear you still.
Right, let me get my little playthings here.
Well, at any rate, Sam, I was just wondering what you thought of the new guy coming in. Because I do think what happens to New York City is important to the rest of the country, and I just would kind of like to hear from someone who's there.
Sam,
I'm
I don't
right
think he
here,
heard
but I can barely hear you.
did you hear Jason?
It's all static.
Okay.
Here we go. Yeah.
You know who I'd like to interview?
Who's that?
George W. Bush.
It'd be a fun interview.
I mean it.
Yeah.
Either him
You think he'll
or
do
his
off
wife,
night?
or his wife.
Him or his wife?
She's a very smart person.
Mm.
Hey,
Well,
Sam, can you hear me now?
Perfectly.
There we go.
Okay. Our one viewer, so we really have to pay attention to our one viewer, has just sent a message asking you to grow a little taller.
Me?
He can
He
see it on
can't
the
see
screen.
you.
And since we've got one viewer, that is the majority. That is a major majority of our audience. So we need you to put either lower the camera or raise your head.
Raise your head
My
or
my
lower the camera.
my
There you
stature-
go.
There
How's
he
that?
is. There we
There
go.
you
My
There we go.
stature, my height stature is tempered by my intellectual prowess.
Ah.
And if I knew what that meant, I would say it again.
Well, we're okay. We're
So
waiting with
Did you
Vicky.
grow, Jason? Did you grow hair during the break? Jesus, the hell!
That happens all the time.
Holy shit! You look like Clancy Brown. You look like Clancy Brown.
I'm about to say, I look
No.
like I've been playing Human Centipede with the Unabomber and John Wayne Gacy. I mean, it's not a great look, but it's,
Speaking of Gacy,
yes.
No.
did anybody here watch the Roger Ailes thing, The Loudest Voice?
I know who Jason is. He's Ravishing Ronald, the endeared natured boy.
No, he did not get to see the Roger Ailes.
Because I worked for him,
Yeah, I
Really?
know. Yeah.
and he said things. Before I watched it, I read his book. What's his name's book? The Loudest Voice. I can't remember the guy's name now. Excuse me. And the level, the level of anti-Semitism and racism in Ailes' demeanor was overwhelming.
Wow.
Absolutely. You know how he referred to that? Gabriel Sherman, that's his name. You know how he referred to him to people at Fox? Your Saturday boy.
Wow.
Yeah. That's yeah.
And he would say things like, probably wears a suicide vest. and somebody who was like a longtime friend of his goes, "Are you out of your goddamn mind?" And Ailes picked up a plate and threw it at the guy and almost hit him. And he said to the guy, "If I wanted to hit you, I would have hit you." And you know what brought him down, right? If you don't know, I'll tell you. He was being interviewed by these women who had accused Ailes of virtually rape. And Ailes is watching them on his screen in his office. And because they know he's watching them, they're saying things like, "He's just a wonderful man. He's treated me like family, blah, 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 blah." So when the lawyers who did this interview are leaving, one of the women approaches them and says, "We couldn't say anything, right? He's watching us, right? He has us. You know that." They didn't know that. And then they did the interviews again. And it was terrible. These women were saying things like, "I was told you have to get on Team Roger. I was told if you don't like it, sign an NDA and get the hell out."
Mm.
I was told a blowjob would make me better. Just beyond belief. What a pig. And so when it all came back, they told the people at Fox News, "We recommend that Mr. Ailes be terminated." And so they tell him, "Well, it's over. We're doing a buyout. You'll get $40 million And he starts screaming and yelling. And what proof does she have? What proof does she have? And James Murdoch, one of Rupert's sons, says, she taped you for a year, for a whole year.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Well,
That was that.
These guys never think that their behavior will ever be exposed.
That's correct.
They can do that. They have reached a level of stature that their caprices are to be exercised, excused away, and never justified in any particular manner or fashion. And when it is sort of laid out in front of them, you know, it's the disaster that it looks like. Bill O'Reilly is another example. Mr. I'm one of you, regular guy, populist, who also wants to get in a three-way with another dude and a chick, and would someone please bring the love toys? I'm sorry, you know, the guy always came across as a classless, drunken buffoon to me, and not any kind of a serious thinker in any particular way. For a while,
What he was,
until it
what
didn't.
he was a brilliant TV guy. There's no question about that. But beyond that, he was a cretin.
Yeah. And that's putting it nicely. And the fact of the matter is, you know, if you are who you are, and eventually that's going to come through. And if you're just a really skeezy, bad human being, Bill Cosby is a good example. I mean, I felt that he was, I can't say, you know, he did things that were wrong and that were illegal, but I wish they'd been prosecuted at the time they happened.
Did you ever hear what Chelsea Handler said about him?
Pardon me?
No.
You ever hear what Chelsea Handler said about him?
No.
What she said.
Chelsea Handler was approached by Cosby. This is years ago. And he said, I think you're brilliant. I think you're terrific. Why don't you come by my hotel room and we will talk about your career? So Chelsea Handler was thrilled, you know. And she said to a friend of hers, guess who wants to talk to me about my career? Bill Cosby. And the friend said, oh my God, that's great. So she said, you want to come with me? She goes, yeah. So she brings her friend and she knocks on the door, and Cosby opens the door and sees that there are two women, one of whom is not someone he wanted to see, and he closed the door in her face.
Wow.
Yeah.
Actually, my wife has a friend who that happened to. And Cosby was pissed, but he was much more discerning with her. And I know Felicia Rashad. I went to college with Felicia Rashad.
Right.
And, you know, what Felicia, when he was found, when he was let off the hook, because it wasn't because he wasn't guilty, it was a technical thing.
Technical, yeah.
Right. Felicia should have kept her mouth shut. Instead, she goes, this is justice. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it is not. No, it was a technical error. And for someone as smart as her, and she's brilliant, that was the dumbest goddamn thing she could have said. Amazed me that she said that. Amazed me.
I have some sympathy for her, and I'll tell you why. Not that this is right, but if you never saw any of that, and I don't have any reason to think that couldn't have happened, that she could have worked for so long with Cosby and never seen any evidence of these stories that we hear now, you might find them hard to believe.
You think his wife saw it?
Yes.
Well, she did the same. She did the same thing.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
but, you might be making a deal with the devil. That could
there's
be.
No question. There's no question.
With that one offhand remark, I forget his name. Was it Burris?
Yeah.
One offhand remark. Who
Hannibal Burris.
His entire career. Because
well, you know what's great about the thing about that remark is, if you know Hannibal, is that was a common. It was commonly known in that community.
Yeah.
So in the urban community, Cosby's reputation was different than in the wider community.
What was the name of the African American guy who did a talk show on Comedy Central?
Kamau.
No, older,
Uh,
glasses.
Larry
Larry
Wilmore.
Wilmore.
Larry Wilmore. Yeah,
Do you remember what he said?
I
He
don't
goes,
recall.
you know, Bill Cosby, and I haven't forgotten about you, motherfucker. I think people knew. I think they knew.
I know, but one guy saying it at the right time, and it becomes a viral clip, and it sets in motion the forces that eventually bring him to his knees.
But it was more than one guy.
Oh, I know, but it was that one person who really sort of, I don't know, it was the straw that breaks the camel's back. There's
That's
lots of
correct.
straws.
But I mean, I just I can see why. I don't know. People depended on him for their living, and I know that's not right. I don't know if that doesn't excuse them.
The man at one time could have potentially bought NBC.
Yeah, he could have.
He was part of a consortium that was spoiling to get NBC. Yeah, a lot of people did depend on his image was predicated on him being sort of this goofy sort of dad guy who told really solid stories. And where it turns out that he's creepy Bill who's drugging women and having sex with them, while I might make jokes about that and have a great monologue with it, you know, I'm just a degenerate cab driver from Ann Arbor. Well, Richard Pryor could have been accused of that. It wouldn't have hurt his career. In Bill Cosby's case, it ended his career.
But Richard Pryor didn't come off as America's dad.
No, he didn't. He was an honest man, and that's what people loved about him. He had all the flaws, and he was never anything but honest. I mean, when he's doing 5 minutes on shooting his wife's car,
God, I love that bit. I love that bit.
You know, when he's talking about doing cocaine in front of his grandmother in a brothel, and she's screaming about, you know, Jesus, Lord, take me now. And he's like, I'm throwing it away, Grandma. And she, no, how much did that cost? He goes, $2,000 an ounce. She goes, you sell it back to the man that you bought it from. I mean, yeah, that strikes a chord because it's honest. I mean, I have cousins and grandmothers like that. I mean, we can relate to that. It's not a false image. And yet,
he wasn't a fraud the way Cosby was a fraud.
And yet he died relatively poor. His family is still trying. Prior, yeah, he mismanaged a lot of his money.
His hospital bills broke him.
Yeah, he's still trying to get his his family is still trying to get the rights to his work. You know,
his daughter ran for city council in Baltimore this year.
I would love that.
Rain.
Rain, yeah. You remember Rain? She was a comic for a while.
She won.
Yes, she was.
Oh, did she win?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, she's in Baltimore. She was at the Improv when I was out there. I don't know if you ever ran into
anybody who would run for anything in Baltimore.
I don't think Baltimore's a bad town, actually.
You don't, huh?
Nope, I don't.
I grew up in D.C.
The Wire doesn't mean anything to you?
What's that?
The Wire doesn't mean anything to you? You don't think it was a documentary?
The Orioles don't mean anything to you?
I don't know if you guys have been paying attention or not, but you really can't go to old TV shows and expect that I've seen all this stuff that you guys have. So
I've never seen the Colts don't mean anything to you. The Indianapolis Colts don't mean anything to you.
Wait. The Wire is not Trouble with Father with Stu Irwin. Calm down. Jesus.
Well, I remember John Waters.
How's that for a reference, brother?
That was good. That was good.
Wow. we're taking up real.
To Pia Zadora.
Well,
we're not a set.
We got.
I got to leave, but I want to say this very quickly.
We got our 90 minutes in. We got our 90 minutes in, fellas. So we're gonna do it again next week. Another poem, another quiz. Invite whoever you want to. Let's.
Let me say this very quickly.
Yeah.
The Night of 100 Stars. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. When that ran, Steve Allen, who I found out later was a prick, but Steve Allen, what a horrible human being. Steve Allen, he said, when they were doing it, he said, if a bomb fell on, this is in Radio City. If a bomb fell on this building and killed everyone in it, Pia Zadora would be famous. You know the story about Pia Zadora, right?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
save it for next week.
She was doing Diary of Anne Frank. And when the Nazis came, people in the audience yelled, "She's in the attic."
She's in the attic.
All right, that was worth going over for, but that's it. Save your stories
Right.
for next
Good night,
week.
everybody. Stay well.
We're going to
Right.
see you
Have a
next
great
Monday
have a
night at
great
8 o'clock.
Christmas.
We'll see you then. Thanks, everybody. So long.
She's in the attic.